Welcome all. In today's generation, people are affected with psychological distress and physical distress in the same proportion. Have you ever had a thought of that? This coronavirus can affect our mental stability? Obviously, due to this widely spreading pandemic COVID-19 and the lockdown we are being encountered with, it can affect our mental stability also. During this tough situation, being psychologically fit and physically fit is equally important. The social distancing and the lockdown makes the situation even more challenging. During this period, we may experience sadness, fear, loneliness, which can result even in depression. And a poor mental health can also be result in a diminished immune function. So, it is very clear that if you are not mentally sound, then the possibility of having a physical illness is not far away. So, it is very important to maintain our mental health along with the physical health. Both of them are interrelated. Due to the outbreak of this coronavirus, we have been administered to a lot of changes in our daily life. We are not allowed to go for work, meet our friends, hang out in public, and many people won't be able to handle these rapid changes smoothly and even can develop a disabled mind. If this uneasiness continues to follow you, then you must seek help from either your friends, your family members, or mental health professionals. And there is nothing to feel bad in seeking help for psychological distress. So throughout this video, we are going to discuss about 5 psychological aspects that is very important to know, especially in this quarantine period. So stay home, stay safe, happy watching.
As the coronavirus pandemic rapidly sweeps across the world, it is inducing a considerable degree of fear, worry, and concern in the population at large, and among certain groups in particular, such as older adults, care providers, and people with underlying health conditions. When we are facing a crisis, the first thing that gets negatively affected is our mental well-being. This, ironically, is also the first thing that will help us endure and survive the same crisis. What does well-being mean to you? How is it related to the present abnormal situation of COVID-19 pandemic? Basically, subjective well-being is a person's cognitive and affective evaluations of his or her life. These evaluations include emotional reactions to events as well as cognitive judgments of satisfaction and fulfillment. A person who has a high level of satisfaction with their life and who experiences a greater positive effect would be deemed to have a high level of subjective well-being, or in similar terms, be very happy. In this present crisis mode, people may show a low level of satisfaction which affects our well-being negatively. It is important to remember that there are things that you can control and things that are completely out of your control. These are unprecedented times and we need to work extra hard to manage our emotions well. Before this crisis period, our daily lives were in certain rhythm or balance. But now it's not the same picture. It is important to maintain a healthy lifestyle and get back into a routine. So we should think of some solutions. Here are some tips to manage stress and promote our mental well-being. First one, practice mindfulness. To practice mindfulness, bring all your attention to the now and present. Be aware of each passing thought or feeling without judgment. Second, try meditation. Meditation is simple, free, and only takes a few minutes. It can promote relaxation, decrease negative emotions, build skills to manage stress, and increase tolerance. Third, learn breathing exercises. Whenever in stress, take a long and deep breath. Mindful breathing can be learned by being conscious of each passing breath and simply observing the physical sensation involved in the process of breathing. Everyone reacts differently to difficult events, and some may find this time more challenging than others. We all have good days and bad days. The way we think, feel, and behave are likely to change over time. During these uncertain times, it is important to recognize and be grateful for what we have. Stay connected with those we love and care for, and lend a helping hand to those who need it. The steps we take now are more important than ever. Be kind, show yourself compassion. Thank you.
What is learned optimism? Who are pessimists and who are optimists? Well, optimists generally expect that more good things are gonna happen to them. But what about a pessimist? A pessimist always thinks that something bad is gonna come in the way and something bad is gonna happen. So, what is the relationship between COVID-19 and learned optimism? And we're going to also talk about what are the general characteristics of a pessimist and an optimist. Pessimistic people are more doubtful, more hesitant, so that they are unwilling to take chances. But what about an optimist? Optimist is always ready to understand things, understand situations. So when we are dealing with an adversity, we tend to have a lot of emotions in ourselves. So these emotions can be an excitement, rage, anxiety, depression, and whatever it can be. So COVID-19 is adversity which we are facing today. So what do you think that how can we overcome this situation? So when we talk about overcoming this serious condition, first we have to understand about explanatory styles of optimism as well as pessimism. So let's take that into three, that is in a permanent level, pervasive level, and in a personal level. So what is it in a permanent level first? In a permanent level, the pessimist will be thinking that this is a difficult situation to overcome and this is gonna be long, this is gonna take a long time. So I'm gonna stay like this in my home and this quarantine time is a little difficult for me. Not a little difficult. A pessimist will always think that this is huge, this is really it's something so difficult to take. So that is a case of pessimist. But what will be an optimist thinking? An optimist in a permanent level will be thinking that this is only an isolated situation and this is not going to take long and I'm going to come out of it. And COVID-19 is not a big deal. This is just a situation which each and every people in this world should face and should overcome. In the case of permanent level, people are always thinking that this is long, this is forever, this is permanent. And in a personal level, the person thinks inside that I am unable to take it. I cannot cope with it. What am I gonna do? How I'm gonna survive here? That are the things person will feel in a personal level. I recommend you to stay safe and stay healthy and happy. Thank you.
At some point of time, we all must have experienced a loss in our confidence or worried that we couldn't overcome a problem. As we all know, COVID-19, a life-threatening disease, makes all of us to feel low. This widespread of COVID-19 and the period of lockdown made us to discuss about self-efficacy. Now what is it? Self-efficacy is a belief in your own abilities to deal with various situations. When facing a challenge, whatever it may be, self-efficacy is important. In present, we are all in a tough situation to overcome this lockdown period. You can also make this lockdown period as the most important time and can utilize this period to achieve your goals. Just take a minute to think about what you want to accomplish, what you want to change, and what do you want to achieve. To make this possible, you must build your self-efficacy, that is, to believe in your own abilities. Self-efficacy plays a major role in how goals, tasks, and challenges are achieved. Okay then, how can we achieve self-efficacy? There are certain things that you can do, and they are Number 1. Mastery experience. Performing a task successfully strengthens our sense of self-efficacy. However, failing a task will weaken self-efficacy. So, we should be ready and should be aware how to deal with our challenges. Number 2. Social modeling. Observing other people successfully completing a task is another important source of self-efficacy. This motivates yourself. That is, while looking around other people completing a task or they achieving their goals, we are automatically motivated to do in such a manner. Number 3. Social persuasion. One should believe that they have skills and capabilities to succeed. That's nothing but self-belief. Getting verbal encouragement from others help people overcome self-doubt and instead focuses on giving their best effort. And at last, number 4, psychological responses. Our own responses and emotional reactions to situation also plays an important role in self-efficacy, moods, emotional states, physical reactions, and stress level. This shows impact on our personal abilities. So, good mental health helps you to achieve your goals. By utilizing this lockdown period, teach your children to be self-efficacious. Finally, celebrate your life and success. Observe others, seek positive affirmations, and pay attention to your thoughts and emotions. So that's it. Stay home, maintain social distancing, and be strong with a strong sense of self-efficacy. Thank you.
Hello. We know that people all over the world are facing so many mental conflicts now, like fear about their job, worried about getting infected by corona. So, the word resilience has more important in this time. Being a resilient person is also important. So, in this video, we are going to talk about 5 strategies for building resilience. Simply, resilience is a capacity to recover from difficulty. It's a process of adapting well in face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, stress. Resilience involves a bouncing back. It can also involve a profound personal growth. Psychologists define it's a role of an individual mental and behavioral ability to withstand or adapt to demanding environment. Positive psychology refers it's a ability to cope up with whatever life throws at you. A resilient person will use their strength, resource, positive capacities like hope, optimism, self-efficacy. But remember one thing, that being a resilient person does not mean that a person won't experience difficulty. If a person has experienced any difficulty or stress, same time that person experiences emotional pain. So next we are going to talk about 5 strategies for building resilience. The first point is building connection. If we connect other people empathetically, they can remind you that you are not alone in the midst of difficulty. So prioritize your relationship. Then second point is foster your wellness. If we promote positive lifestyle like correct nutrition, proper hydration, correct physical activity, so it will strengthen your body. Then practice mindfulness. Do regular meditation, yoga, mindful journaling, and try to avoid alcohol, drug, other substance. Then third point is find purpose. We know that helping others is a great thing. So try to help and support others in the time of need. So it will develop a sense of purpose and self-worth. Then fourth point is embracing healthy thought. Develop a more balanced and realistic thinking pattern. So healthy thought is essential for a healthy life. The last fifth point is seeking help. If you can't control your situation or environment, you can seek support from your loved ones or trusted professional. So seeking help is also good. So these are the 5 strategies. Thank you for watching.
What is psychological first aid? It is the first step of helping people to reduce their anxiety or stressful situation, and also it can build the strength and resilience they need to carry on in their life. Psychological first aid is promoting safety, comfort, connectedness and self-empowerment for people, and it can be provided by anyone with very minimal training, which means everyone can give psychological first aid in the crisis situation. It is also helping hands for others. Next, I would like to say how to give psychological support to your loved one when going through a tough time during COVID-19. First one is treat the person with respect and dignity. Second one is offer consistent emotional support and understanding. Third one is have realistic expectations. Fourth one is give the person hope. Fifth one is provide practical help if needed. Sixth one is offer them information. Recently, we are hearing many news about COVID-19 and its impacts. During the same time, I came across a meme by saying that in some states, death due to corona is comparatively less than suicide taking place during these periods. The major reason for suicide is effects of withdrawal symptoms from alcohol, mental stress due to lockdown, or even fear of corona. Here I am saying about giving psychological first aid for suicidal thoughts. Most types of mental health first aid for suicide are following 5 steps. The first one is to assess for risk of suicide or bodily harm. Secondly, we can listen the person in a non-judgmental way. Third, we can give reassurance and information. After, we can encourage appropriate professional help to that person. At last, we can encourage self-help and other support strategies. Sixth one, walk away from the situation for a while and handle it later once things have calmed down. Seventh one, break down big problems into smaller parts. Take one step at a time instead of trying to tackle everything at once. Eighth one, turn on some chill music or an inspirational podcast to help you deal with road rage. And the last one, leisure time can be made fruitfully by developing your hobbies like doing craft works, sculpting, painting and engaging in gardening, etc. Now, I conclude by giving some tips to avoid negative tensions. First, count to 10 before you speak or react. Second, take a few slow deep breaths until you feel your body unclench a bit. Third, go for a walk even if it's just to restroom and back. It can help break the tension. Fourth, try a quick meditation or prayer to get some perspective. Fifth, if it's not urgent, sleep on it and respond tomorrow.